Phil, I'll start with you. What does this win mean to you?
I mean, it's nice, but I mean, come on. I mean, I have to win the next one. You can't. Negreanu, when I look back, he really played amazing. It seemed like he was technically perfect. It's tough to play against that style, and so, I don't know. I'm not going to underestimate Negreanu. He's a great player who's playing a great game, and hopefully I can pull a little white magic out on May 5th.
Phil, do you feel fortunate to have won that match? I mean, let's face it, you were getting crushed right away. You had you down to about 3,000 or 4,000 chips. I mean, did you ever feel defeated the entire time?
No, but I mean that's just me. I got lower than that against a Jungle Man, believe it or not, in our match, and came back and won it. And in the Jungle Man match, it was 200,000 basically in cash. In other words, when I won that 200,000, I could just take it right to the cage. And so can't take it to the cage yet because Daniel's challenged me here. The one thing I have going for me is I play in my regular game, and they tease me for not buying in when I'm down to 1,800. It might be 50, 100. Everybody has all these huge stacks in front of them, and I'm playing 1,800. And I think they laugh at me sometimes. When I'm down to 9 big blinds, but I've had so much practice playing that short stack and, waiting for good spots. I guess that's allowed me not really to panic. I think I put myself in a bad spot, or Daniel put me in a bad spot. And, I was fortunate to come away with the victory in the first match.
How would you both, and Phil, I think we'll start with you for this one, how would you sum up the pressure that you feel or you think you will be feeling going into round 2 of High Stakes Duel 2?
I got to tell you, I told the story before. Before the third match against Antonio, I had this ego-filled week where they sent me a jet, and I was at this mansion in Wisconsin on Lake Geneva, and there with my son playing high stakes poker, hanging out with a bunch of billionaires. My son won 15,000 in the game,
nice.
Nick, and so I came in very egotistical, but also with my son Nick. After every conversation, I'm like, Nick, did I talk too much? Is my ego too big? Nick was helping me. And I had a massive ego drop before the Antonio match, which was great because I needed it. And the 3 days between the end of that trip, and I came in a lot more steady and a lot more focused. But I'll tell you what, my heart was racing with him, and I went in and I was all nervous, and I lied down on the floor before the match, and I'm like, I was telling you guys, I'm freaked out. I have to shake everybody's hand on the way in. Oh my God, I don't want to do that, and I always shake everybody's hand. I love to do that, but I'm telling you, I was so nervous that I just found myself, all right, I don't want to go into AFib. I don't want my heart to go too crazy. I don't want to have an anxiety attack. And so I was lying down, hoping no one would come and say anything to me. And then the minute I sat in the chair with Antonio and we got live, it went away. So I had a little bit of that with Daniel, but I don't think I'll have it in match 2. But match 3, and I don't get nervous before final tables usually. But there's some anxiety. I mean, you're playing a great player and you're playing live with huge audiences, and there's a little bit to deal with.
Daniel, how about you as far as pressure is concerned going into this one?
I think it's fair to say that if there's pressure on one side or the other, typically it's going to be on the person who, one, lost the first match.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, typically, if you're the betting favorite, people expect you to be the winner. So there's a little bit more pressure in that regard. And for me, one of the tough, annoying things was, like, first of all, I lost the match, and I did have side bets on it. But the people that made the side bets that watched the match, I said, well, can we do, the same bet? And they don't want it anymore because they didn't think they didn't like their side anymore after seeing sort of how the play went in the first half of the match. So that's been frustrating. So I've been trying to grind on Twitter, $5K or $10K at a time to try to get as much money as I had on the first one. And I've been able to nickel and dime some. We've got enough people there that are betting on Phil plus the 150. So yeah, I think that, listen, could you imagine Phil after we just had Private Jet, Michael Jordan, Dustin Johnson, everybody, after all that, and beating me twice? Oh my God. I would worry about the AFib and all the stuff he was saying because like his ego could explode. So we have to do our best for the sake of humanity to make sure that we humble Phil a little bit and make sure we win the second one and then we play for all the marbles in the final round.
Hey guys, this is No Gamble, No Future. We have some sports betting. We have some fantasy sports. We have big name guests.
And we're absolute degenerates. Jeff, when is the show?
Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific.